This video is for the person that doesn't necessarily know what you want to do for a living. Maybe you're at a quote unquote dead end job. Maybe you're working in a fast food restaurant. Maybe you're a dishwasher at a restaurant or a stalker inside of Walmart. Whatever the case may be, it could be a totally different career. I want to share with you guys what worked for me and what I did. I went into a skilled trade. I went into trucking specifically. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life, man. I spent $7,000 for my school tuition. Probably the best $7,000 I ever spent. Made that money back, I don't know how many times over at this point. But I just want to let you know that I understand that college isn't for everybody. I understand that in this day and time, people don't want to have a lot of student loan debt. You see it all across social media where you have individuals that have graduated from college, have more degrees than a thermostat, and still having a tough time trying to find a job. That's just the job market. That's the economy that we're in right now. But if you're interested in getting into a skilled trade, it doesn't have to be trucking. Trucking is what worked for me, so that's what I can speak to from experience. But you have welding, you have HVAC, you have an electrician, you have elevator technicians. You have a variety of different skilled trades out there that you can research and see if there's something out there that could suit you, right? For me, trucking has been great. I know people personally in the trucking industry that make well over six figures, $100,000 a year, 110, 120, 140 in trucking. None of these people have college degrees and they're living a pretty good life. You can too if you chose to go into this career. Now let me just say this, trucking isn't for everybody. There are a lot of people who've gotten into this industry and it didn't pan out. It didn't work for them. So before you get into this industry, I would suggest that you definitely do your research, figure out if there's something within this industry in terms of the jobs that you think you would like. Again, there are a lot of trucking jobs out there to choose from. You have specialized jobs like fuel hauling. You can get into LTL, pull doubles, you can do line haul, heavy machinery, whatever it is, right? There's just so many opportunities out there in the trucking space. I do what's called food service delivery, very tough job, but it can be very rewarding at the same time. And at the end of the day, this trucking industry can provide a good life for you. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, definitely check it out, man. Again, I paid out of pocket, but there are other ways that you can pay for your tuition. There are grants available. You can check out the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. The acronym is WIOA, Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. That's a grant that a lot of people have taken advantage of in this trucking industry. People that didn't necessarily have the funds to pay for their tuition, you can go that route. There are mega carriers out there who will sponsor you and pay for your tuition. Now, you may end up going in the contract for about a year or so, depending on what company you choose to go with. But that's another way to get into the industry without coming out of your own pocket. There are a variety of different ways, right? Let's not make any excuses. Let's figure out all of the resources out there so we can change our life for the better and just create a better life for ourselves. That's what it's all about. On my channel, I try to provide you guys with some sound advice, some good information, and it's just me pretty much speaking from my own experiences with a lot of these things that I talk about, because I'm here to help somebody who want to be helped. I talk about investing on my channel because investing for me is super important. When I'm done working, I want to be able to have a retirement. I want to be able to have savings. I just want to be economically secure when it's all said and done. So that's the journey that I'm on right now. So far, so good. And another bit of advice, if you get into this industry and you find a job that's paying more than your current job, you start making all this money, please, please, please put some money away. Save at least minimum 10% of whatever you make every week or bi-weekly on the low end. Ideally, if you could save more, that'd be better. 15, 20%, even more. The more the better. Save a percentage of your money, put it in something like a high yield savings account so you can at least get 3.5%, 4% of your money. There may be some financial institutions out there that have a little bit higher interest rates, but 3.5%, 4% is what I've been seeing. If you can get 5%, that's even better. But don't put it in a traditional banking account or a traditional savings account, I should say. What's 0.01% gonna do for you? At least try to get 3.5 to 4. And then besides that, 401k. At least contribute up to the minimum so you can get a company match from your employer. With us, the company I work for, it's like 4% and the company matches. So every company is different, but try to take advantage of that. That's free money. You don't want to leave it on the table, right? Sorry about the sweat, guys, like it's hot out here. The other thing, let me see, it just kind of slipped my mind. Oh, there's no reason why you should have a GoFundMe account in the event that something tragic happens. We want to try to avoid that. We don't do no GoFundMe accounts. We don't do any of that. Let's be disciplined. Let's prioritize saving money. Let's prioritize getting health insurance. Let's prioritize getting dental insurance. Let's prioritize having a retirement account. Let's prioritize all these things that are important, particularly if you have kids, if you have a family, if you have a spouse. If anything happens to me, my wife is gonna be taken care of. My daughter's gonna be taken care of, right? So you wanna make sure you have all of your affairs in order. Make sure all of your affairs in order, man. None of us know when it's gonna be our time to leave here. So if you, particularly as a parent, as a spouse, as a boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe you haven't necessarily lived up to the expectations that you had for yourself. Maybe you aren't necessarily where you want to be financially. I think we all want to leave something for our loved ones, right? That's my whole thing. I want to make sure that I leave something behind for my loved ones so they're not struggling or doing anything like that. Just to give them a leg up, to get them a little bit further in life. That's what it's all about, man. And so that's all I got for you guys today, man. It's hot out here. It was just raining a few minutes ago. It done slacked up. I got to get ready to get in here and get cleaned up, man. All right, guys, real quick, I want to add a few things to this video. Sometimes during the editing process, I realized that there are some things that I wanted to say, but I forgot to say it, so I'm here to add to it. I mentioned earlier about knowing some people personally in the trucking industry that make 6 figures, which is true. But I don't want you guys to have any unrealistic expectations and think that when you're coming in as a new truck driver, first year, that you're gonna make 6 figures. It's possible. I know people who have done it, but I don't want you guys to set those type of expectations for yourself for your first year. But understand that the likelihood of you doing it, especially if you get all of your endorsements, maybe you get into something specialized, you can do it. There are a lot of truck drivers in this industry that make a lot more than $100,000 a year. That's number one. Number two, I understand that six figures nowadays, it may not be a lot of money to some of you guys, right? It may not go very far depending on where you live. So if you live in an area that has a low cost of living, six figures is going to go a little bit further than if you live in California or New York. So you got to take that in consideration. So you may have a six-figure job, but then you may have something on the side to generate some more income for you, right? The point is, try to make as much money as you can make while you can make it, particularly if you're able-bodied. Also, you want to make sure you keep your expenses low. Try to live below your means. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily about how much you make, it's about how much money you keep. That's what it comes down to. There are a lot of people who make far less than six figures, and they have more money than people who make six-figure salaries because they know how to live below their means. They're disciplined with their finances, and they're just better at managing their money. So that's what it comes down to. It's not about how much you make. I know we like to toss six-figure salaries around all the time. Saving your money, try to resist the temptation and not splurge and just blow every single dime. When you get overtime, like I talked about earlier, put some of that money in the bank. Put it away for a rainy day. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, I'm out. Peace.